Hello, and welcome to the Homeschooling and Loving It podcast. I'm your host, Jamie, your friend at homeschool.com and homeschool mom of 6. Join us as we keep it real and chat about the ups and downs of this amazing adventure we call the homeschool life. So grab a cup of your warm favorite and a comfy chair, and let's get started. Hello, everyone. This is episode 17 of the Homeschooling and Loving It podcast. We're glad that you're back to join us, and today we are talking about homeschooling and working from home. Sadly, we all know, we all feel this little crunch, don't we? But in today's culture, it's very difficult to make ends meet on one income. In fact, statistics show from 2016 that 66% of American married couples needed 2 incomes to cover their cost of living. Also, we've got a large percentage of single parents out there that would love to homeschool, but they have to work. They have the challenge of being the sole breadwinner. So there's no doubt about it. Living on one income is really hard. It's very difficult. But the question is, can you work and homeschool at the same time? Is it even a thing? Is it possible? So I'm here to share with you all today that the good news is it is possible. It is doable. It does carry challenges, but with a little creativity and some planning, you can find a way. You can make it work, whether you are a single homeschooler, single parent homeschooler, or if you are married and your family does rely on your income or 2 incomes, you can find a way to make it work. So today I'm going to share with you a couple ways, and I'm sure there are many more, and if you want to share them with me, I would love it. But today we're just going to talk about 3 particular ways that might help to enable you to work and homeschool at the same time. So the first way is the idea of staggering your hours. So if you can stagger your hours with your spouse, or if you're a single parent and your parents are helping you with the children, maybe stagger your hours as you work, you'll always have home base covered. So someone can always be at home, and you may need to set up a schedule. Obviously, when you've got so many moving parts in a family, in a home, schedules are really important. In fact, in our home, we now have living under our roof a family of 7. And so we have a little chalkboard in the kitchen. We keep the schedule on. It helps us all stay on the same page, because otherwise it would be chaos with me working, with daddy working, with 3 of our older children working. So having a schedule so that you make sure that you've got home base covered. Working opposite shifts from your spouse can help. And problem with that I've found is that eventually it really begins to wear on you because you don't get to see each other as much. You can maximize your time, you can plan, you can try to work things out, and that's the thing. You've got to be intentional. You've got to, if you're going to do this and you're going to stagger your shifts and you're going to be working like that, you're going to have to make some intentional times where you work on your relationship with your spouse, and even times where you and your spouse can spend time with the children. Okay, so our second tip is to work from home. Yes, I particularly love this. I have been doing this now for 13, almost 14 years, and I started out when I left formally teaching. I came home, I started my own business as a tutor. And so I tutored out of my home, which was really quite lucrative. I enjoyed it. I was able to invest in a lot of children in my local community. However, then I came into some other things where I was writing and I was doing some blogging, and that's been a really wonderful way for us to have an income stream in our home. But there are lots of other work at home opportunities that in today's world are really amazing opportunities for us to get in working and being able to stay at home with our children. They can homeschool while we work, or we can work during their nap time, or we can work after we finish homeschooling. So it's so flexible. It's amazing. And by working from home, you have the advantage of always being there for your kids, which is something that was very important to me. So depending on the ages of your children, you might want to hire someone to help you during your work hours, or if your husband can watch the children while you work. That's kind of how I had to work it when my children were small, but now that they are older and they can do their homeschool more independently, I'm able to work while they homeschool. But the truth is, if you're going to work from home, being interrupted constantly or constantly having to help the children doesn't really give you good productive work hours. So that is a concern. So if you can find someone to help you watch the children in, kind of their downtime for a few solid hours, then you can get more work done. There's tip number 2, work from home. And then finally, the last tip I have for you today is to consider homeschooling in the evening. So if you have to work maybe during the day, I know someone who was a nurse and she homeschooled, and so she only worked, I think it was 3 days a week. And so in that system, she was able to go work a long, 3 days means 3 long shift days. And then on the other days, she homeschooled, a good bit, but she also homeschooled in the evening. And so if you can't stay at home, you can adjust your homeschool hours. And there is no written law anywhere that says that you have to homeschool between the hours of 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. No, you can homeschool at any time. In fact, some children learn better in the afternoon and evening than they do in the morning. I know if they're anything like me, I am not a morning person. And so my creative juices and thinking processes really get going in the later afternoon and evening. And, children are the same way. Some people I know are even night owls, and they like to homeschool in the late evening. It's all flexible. I mean, that is the whole purpose of homeschooling, isn't it? Flexibility, meeting the needs of our family, our children, and our needs. Not the other way around. We aren't serving homeschool. Homeschool is serving us. Those are my few tips for today. And again, it's worked. It's something that has been able to work well for me. So if you have any questions, just go ahead and shoot me an email. I would love to help you out with this topic. And again, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. With grace and joy, Jamie.